And welcome back. If you had joined us for that completion of Game 1, which was just a few minutes ago, we just had the national anthem. We started on the air while the national anthem was going on. I'm not exactly sure how well you could hear that at home, but obviously that was what was going on right there, which is why if you didn't hear it, there might have been a little bit of dead air, but I don't think you didn't hear it to some extent. Anyways, we are now getting set for Game 2 of the SCCBL Championship Series. Unfortunately, Game 1 did not finish the way that the Pirates had hoped, as Inland Valley ends up falling 18-13. I kid you not, 18-13, the final score of Game 1 that was just completed about 15 minutes ago at 7:17 Pacific Standard Time. 7:32 is the time now, as we are just about working our way to opening pitch here in game number 2 of the SCCBL Championship. Here is the starting lineup for your Inland Valley Pirates. Leading off in left field is Greg Espinosa. Batting second, the designated hitter, Kyle Jackson. Batting third, the first baseman, A.J. David. The right fielder, Kyle Garlick, is the cleanup hitter. Batting fifth, number 5, Johnny Reynoso. Batting sixth, Channing Varela, the shortstop. Batting seventh is Fernando Escobar, the second baseman. The catcher, Christian Kelly, batting eighth. And last but not least, in right field, Alec Morabito. He is batting ninth. Here is the defensive alignment. We'll get that to you right after the first pitch, which misses upstairs. Ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Greg Espinosa. It's Brooke Kriske on the mound, the sophomore from USC here for the Palm Springs Power. This one's a line drive foul down the first base line and out of play. 1-1 the count. Well, Brooks Kriske actually went in Game 2 of the doubleheader at Cal Poly Pomona back on June 23rd and held the Pirates in check. Power ended up winning that game 3-1. This one is swung on and lifted into shallow center field. Will they get down for a blue base hit? No, it will not, as the center fielder charges in and makes the grab. That is Clark. Here is the starting defense for the Palm Springs Power. Left to right across the outfield, Pollock, Clark, and Patron. Left to right across the infield is King, Burcham, Zimmerman, and Benning. And behind the dish is Young. So that is the defense for the Power. As this pitch misses low and away for ball 1 here to Kyle Jackson. Kyle Jackson hitting .311, .373 on base percentage, and has really been seeing the ball well past few days. Another towering fly ball. This one is in the infield and on the infield grass, as the second baseman Zimmerman will make the grab. So 2 up and 2 down quickly here for the Pirates in the top of the first inning of Game 2 of this championship series. Here's A.J. David, and A.J. David, he had a whale of a game yesterday. He hit 3 doubles in that game, and that I think is why he got the nod as the number 3 hitter in this game. And we've mentioned how good he was at San Bernardino Valley College. First of all, it got him that scholarship offer to Cal Baptist. Here's the pitch. Misses low. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. And we mentioned he signed with Cal Baptist before his sophomore season even started, back in December. So it must have been nice kind of just playing openly and freely this sophomore year, knowing that you were going to be at Cal Baptist as a junior and senior. As we mentioned, this is a great setting here for baseball. Line foul down the third base lane and actually over towards the owner of the Palm Springs Power, Andrew Starkey, who had to jump out of the way. But this certainly is a good atmosphere for baseball. Picturesque setting. It's nice to play under the lights as well. Late kick, and here's the pitch from Kriske. Called a strike on the outside corner. 1-2 here to A.J. David. 349 down the left field line and right field line. 385 to dead center. That is the dimensions here in Palm Springs Stadium. This one swung on and lifted down the left field line and foul over towards the bullpen over there and batting cages, as that will just be a long strike for David, which seems like he's a little bit behind the pitcher, but he's actually been sending him very far down that line. So just want to see him straighten it out a little bit here. Here's the 1-2. Ooh, a nice backdoor breaking ball, just misses for a ball, and it's 2-2. So for the first time in this game, we've got deuces running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch from Kriske. Upstairs, ball 3. Fastball it was, and it's 3-2 here for A.J. David. And this is something that we said here in this at-bat for David. back yesterday. You want to try to wear down the pitcher and extend counts. Swings and misses at this one, though, and the side is retired in order here in the first half inning as the Pirates will head out to the field for the first time, trailing. Actually, not trailing, excuse me. It's 0-0. We just started. The Power haven't even hit yet, but it is 0-0 after one half inning. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the first inning. It's no score yet between the Pirates and Power. Cody Arott, the left-handed pitcher, is on the mound to start here for Game 2 of the championship series. Well, Cody Arott, he is a sophomore at Linfield. Of course, he'll be a junior next season. Comes set in the stretch, leg kick, and here's the pitch. Fastball, outside ball one. 1-0 the count here to the leadoff hitter, Nick King. Here is the defensive alignment for the Pirates, going left to right across the outfield. Espinosa, Morabito, and Garlick. Here comes the 1-0 offering. And this one just misses as well. 2-0 the count here. Going left to right across the infield, Reynoso, Varela, Escobar, David, and Kelly behind the dish. Leg kick, and here's the pitch. 2-0 misses low, ball 3, 3-0 the count. So this is certainly not what you wanted to see if you're Charlie Reynoso, who now looks like he's pacing a little bit down that first base line. The Pirates skipper, of course. Here comes the 3-ball pitch. And this one misses low as well. And a 4-pitch walk drawn here by Nick King. Batting order that the Pirates will send out here in Game 2. King is the leadoff hitter who just walked. And it's Burcham, Zimmerman, Patron, Benning, Clark, Sterry, Young, and Pollock. And we have a mound visit already after the first hitter walks. And mound visits, they were the norm yesterday, if you were listening or if you were following the game, for both teams really, not just for the Pirates. But that really is something that Charlie Reynoso does a lot in general. He always seems to go out to visit the pitcher just in case, just to kind of settle him down. You just want to make sure that he has his confidence here and doesn't potentially risk really giving up a big inning in the first inning. That would be the last thing you want to do if you're the Pirates. And now he's gone over to talk to the home plate umpire, and he's being very demonstrative with his wording. Not exactly sure what he's saying, but he was certainly discussing some of the pitch calls that I guess he thinks were strikes. And I wouldn't really argue that much with Charlie because I really was not sure where some of them missed, as all 4 were called balls. And specifically on the 3-0 pitch, typically you'll just see an umpire call a strike if it's anywhere near the zone on the 3-0. Here's the first pitch, and this one's way outside, ball 1. Fastball, 1-0 the count here to Scotty Burcham. He's hitting .302 for the Palm Springs Power and plays for Sacramento State. Like in the pitch, another one way outside, ball 2, 2-0 the count. So whatever Charlie said to Cody and the umpire hasn't seemed to work yet, as he has thrown 6 pitches and 6 balls, and no strikes yet. Another one high and away, ball 3. So 7 pitches and 7 balls for the Pirates southpaw. Cody Arott coming into today, only 14 2/3 innings pitched this season, and finally throws a strike right down the middle. 3-1 the count here, as taking the whole way was Scotty Burcham. Dylan Lowenstein has his leg gear on in the dugout. Fastball away. Ball 4. 9 pitches, 8 balls, 2 runners on base here for the Palm Springs Power in the bottom of the first inning. So an absolutely terrible start so far for Inland Valley and Cody Arott. But as we mentioned, coming into today, only 14 2/3 innings pitched, 2-0 record, 15 strikeouts, 6 walks, a 1.84 ERA, and 0.75 whip. So as the second baseman's trying to hold on, the runner's off. Pitch misses inside, and the throw down to third gets by Johnny Reynoso and goes in the left field. It was a stolen base and an error, and the Power take a 1-0 lead here in the first inning. And really, how did the run score? The run scored with unforced errors as you put 2 men on base in the form of walks. Then there was a stolen base of third where Christian Kelly made a good throw, and for some reason Johnny Reynoso just couldn't handle it, and it ends up going in the left field, and the runs comes home on an error. called strike 2, slow off-speed pitch on the outside corner, and it's 0-2 here to Jordan Zimmerman, who hit the huge 3-run home run yesterday that tied the game up at 11 apiece. And that one was a no-doubter, if there ever was one. So too was Kyle Garlick's 3-run home run earlier in the game. This one swung and fouled down the right field line and out of play over towards the bullpen where somebody is loosening up, and that somebody is Ryan Romero. So the Pirates already have a relief pitcher warming up in the form of the right-handed pitcher from San Francisco State, Ryan Romero, although he was just kind of loosening up and now has stopped for a moment here. 0-2 the count, still no outs, 1-0 the score, Power on top. This one is swung and fouled out of play down the first base line, and we'll do it again, 0-2. So Cody Arott giving up 2 walks. Power then stealing third base and scoring on a throwing error by Christian Kelly. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted foul, once again out of play down the right field line. As there's a lot of little kids out there in right field chasing the baseballs down. And so I guess they will get a souvenir to remember this Game 2 of the championship series by. Jordan Zimmerman hitting .383 on the season from Mesa Community College. Right-handed hitter with an open stance going against the left-handed pitcher Cody Arott. Cody Arott comes set, checks the runner at second, and now checks again before firing the 0-2 home. And this one once again swung on and fouled back at the screen this time, and it's still 0-2. And as a pitcher, really you're starting to think it's still 0-2. You can throw a waste pitch here. You can try to maybe throw high heat up in the zone and catch him chasing, or maybe try to catch him fishing on a low breaking pitch. This one's fouled once again. And at this point, you might think that they should just start calling Jordan Zimmerman Mr. Big Five, because at this rate, we're going to need to go to Big Five and get some more baseballs. As Power still have a runner on second base in scoring position and lead 1-0. No hits yet, even though they scored that 1 run. This one's grounded down the third base line, foul. Surprise, surprise. And he has fouled a ton of baseballs in this at-bat. And as we mentioned, there's still no balls yet here for Cody Arott, who you figure just try to throw something out of the zone and try to see if he'll offer at it. Here's the pitch. And once again, lifted foul out of play down the first base line, as an epic battle is ensuing between number 32 on the Pirates and number 32 on the Power. Here's the pitch. Lifted foul behind home plate. I wonder if they're just trying to go for a new record here in terms of how many foul balls out of play in a row they can possibly put together, the two number 32s. Well, as we were starting to say, Cody Arott is from Linfield University. Checks the runner at second base. Now fires home. And this one was way out of the zone. 1-2. First ball here. 6'3", 215 pounds. Linfield is in Oregon, just in case you were wondering. And he majors in physical education there. Comes set in the stretch, and the runner steals. This one swung on and lifted, and this might be playable. It's in foul territory. Chasing it is the pitcher Arott, and he overruns it, but just makes the catch in foul territory right in front of the first base dugout. As there's a little bit of clapping here. Not sure if that's sarcastic from the home crowd or not, but the first out is finally retired by Cody Arott on a flyout to himself as he charged over towards that first base dugout. So 1 down, 1-0 the score. The 1 run scoring on an error after 2 base runners were put on base on a 4-pitch walk and a 5-pitch walk to start the game off by Cody Arott. This one misses low and away. Ball 1 here to Eno Patron, the left-handed hitter from Long Beach State, hitting .429 this season with the Power. Cody Arott, of course, at Linfield, he doesn't know what it's like to not go to the World Series. He's done it his first 2 years as a freshman and sophomore. In fact, his freshman year, they won the D3 National Championship. Here's the 1-0, and it misses inside. Brushback pitch, 2-0. Christian Kelly calls for time and heads out to the bump to talk things over with Cody Arat. Well, the movement in the bullpen was very, very short because Ryan Romero kind of just, I guess, was loosening his arm up just in case. And since then, they've decided to sit down over there down the right field line. But actually, it looks like Romero is still sitting out there with Gil Perez and Dylan Lowenstein. Perez is the sort of the pitching coach and works with the catchers and pitchers. Swung on and missed, strike one, 2-1 the count. Nice off-speed pitch by Arat. And Lowenstein, of course, the backup catcher. So they're all still kind of camped out over there in the bullpen down the first base line. Should mention there is wind here as the flag in center field is pretty much stiff going left to right. Here's the pitch. Flying left to right as this one misses in the dirt, 3-1 the count. And actually, if you recall, not sure if you were with us or not, back last year in the Home Run Derby, but from what I remember here in this park during the summer, it seems like the ball flies out better to right field because all the guys who did great in the Home Run Derby last year were left-handed hitters. Fastball called strike two, 3-2 the count. And we're just mentioning that because we just said that the flag obviously is flying left to right, so the wind is going left to right across the field. As so too is the water misting the people here. We mentioned that at the end of the first game. Here's the pitch. Swung and lifted to left field, down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play. So we'll do it again. Another payoff pitch to come. Here for Cody Arat going against the cleanup hitter Eno Patron. Yes, they do have misters here at Palm Springs Stadium. If you are just joining us, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it was in about 110 degrees during the day here today. It's cooled up a little bit since then, but still pretty hot, and that's why the misters are out in full force here at Palm Springs Stadium. The former home for the Anaheim Angels, now the, of course, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, but this was the former spring training facility for them. And this pitch is a breaking pitch, low and away, ball four. So the third walk here in the first inning for Cody Arat. And when you hear that there's already been 3 walks, still only 1 out, I guess you would almost be happy with the fact that the score is just 1-0. And there are runners on first and second here, so you got to force anywhere or you could try to turn 2. The middle infielders, Varela and Escobar, are playing in double play depth. Actually, it looks like Escobar is trying to hold on the runner, and he's going to second base as Arat steps off the mound. And really, they stole third base on Cody and were trying to do it again when a ball was fouled, and they might very well have done it again. So certainly you want to try to hold them on and certainly pay more attention to the runner if you're Cody Arat. Fastball peppers the outside corner. Strike one. 0-1 the count here to Hunter Benning, the right-handed hitter from Northwest Florida State. .361 batting average this season for Palm Springs. Cody Arat's hometown, Yucaipa. Went to Yucaipa High School as well. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, 0-2 the count. At Yucaipa High School was the first team Citrus Belt League selection. And his senior year put up great numbers with them in a 1.30 ERA and a 47 strikeouts. Of course, one of 17 returning Pirates here this year is Cody Arat. Checks the runner at second, fires home. Here's the 0-2. And this one misses inside for ball one. 1-2 the count. Last season, Cody, he didn't play that many games. In fact, he didn't pitch that many innings with the Pirates, only 10 1/3 innings. But as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this year he's only beaten that out by 4 1/3. He comes into today with 14 2/3 innings pitched and steps off the mound once again in what has been a pretty long bottom of the first inning, holding in form of how the game was played yesterday, as that was one of the longer games that you'll see, especially in summer collegiate baseball, because there's no commercials or any breaks in between innings. Normally you just go right at it. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that is the second out here of the inning. And that is something that, and I think a real reason why Cody Arott got the nod here is that he does have really nasty stuff. Just the problem has seemed to be consistency with him. But at times, he's almost unhittable. In fact, he did pitch 5 no-hit innings earlier on the season against the San Diego Force of all teams, a team that is headed to the College World Series out in Wichita, Kansas this weekend. They will actually be joining the SCCBL next year. Arott checks the runner and fires home. This one misses for a ball. 1-0 the count to Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark, the center fielder, hitting .315 for the Power. Goes to Chico State. Here's the 1-0 offering. Outside, ball 2, 2-0 the count, as Clark was checking the home plate umpire to make sure that it was called the ball. Ryan Clark, he was the leadoff hitter yesterday, and I guess a little bit today too, because we completed that 9th inning here before Game 2 today. If you're just joining us, the final score of that game was 18-13. It was 17-12 when we resumed, so each team got 1 run in that 9th inning. Called strike on the outside corner, 2-1 the count. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 1 run in on no hits and 1 error, and 2 men still on base. That would be Scotty Burcham at second and Eno Patron at first, both of whom were walked by Cody Arott. So Arott laboring here in this inning, as this one is lined foul down the first base line, 2-2 the count. And you would almost feel like if you can get this next strike on a 2-strike count here, or if you can just get this out, you almost feel like it's a bit of a success for the Pirates, just in the sense that, well, first of all, they haven't hit him around or anything, but just how wild and, kind of the lack of control Arott has had so far, walking 3 hitters in the very first inning he's pitched. But this one's lined into deep center field, and Nathan Virgin has the track on it and makes the catch. Excuse me, that's Alec Morabito out there. Sorry about that. That was Morabito out in center field who made the catch to retire the side here in the first inning. But the damage was done in the sense that the Power get a 1-0 lead at the end of 1 inning on 3 walks and 1 error and no hits. We'll head to the top of the second inning. 1-0 the score. Power on top of the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the top of the second inning. 1-0 the score. The Pirates have fallen behind to the Power here in Game 2 of the championship series. Of course, as we mentioned over the past 2 days, this has been a spot where the Pirates have sort of excelled at to some extent, as this one catches the outside corner for called strike 1. 0-1 the count here to Kyle Garlick. We mentioned that the Pirates had fallen behind to San Diego 4-1 and the Power 4-0. And wound up taking the lead in both of those games. Of course, winning on Monday against Team San Diego in the play-in game of sorts. Actually, the first ever playoff game in the history for the Pirates. This, of course, being their 2nd season. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, blown by the hitter, Garlick. And it's 1-2. And then, obviously, yesterday, taking the lead, but relinquishing it after a wild finish to that game, where pretty much any pitcher that came in relief just couldn't get the job done. As this one is swung on and fouled down the first base line, it will remain 1-2 here for Kyle Garlick, right-handed hitter. Went to the University of Oregon the past 3 years. As we mentioned back at the end of the last game, he is transferred to Cal Poly Pomona. This one's lifted in the right field. Going back is the right fielder. It's going to get over his head, and it lands in fair territory and hits the wall. Kyle Garlick digging to second, and he will head to third. The cutoff is going to be caught over there in right field. Kyle Garlick with a triple to lead off the inning here for the Pirates. So Kyle Garlick has been nothing but clutch here for the Pirates at bat. He was the one who had the go-ahead 3-run home run in the 3rd inning yesterday against the Power. And he was the same guy that had the tying 2-run double down the left field line against Team San Diego on Monday. And now hoping to once again be involved with tying a game up as he leads off with a triple. And now you just want to manufacture a run if you're the Pirates. Fastball outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count here for Johnny Reynoso. And Johnny Reynoso, he's one of the guys that you always look at as a rally starter. Power playing normal depth, so it looks like they will concede a run. Should there be a ground ball to the middle infielders, called strike 1, 1-1 the count. So if you're Johnny Reynoso right here, you got a lot of options. You can hit a fly ball to the outfield or a ground ball to the middle infield. Even the corner infielders aren't really playing in as well. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and that was blown by Johnny. And it's 1-2. Brooks Kriske is certainly a very good pitcher from USC, a Trojan right-handed hurler who held the Pirates in check back on June 23rd, where Power ended up winning that game 3-1. Swung on and lifted foul and out of play down the third base line. 1-2 the count here for Johnny Reynoso. Johnny Reynoso, he will be an all-star here on Saturday as well at Palm Springs Stadium. 388 batting clip, 446 on base percentage for the left-handed hitter going to West Texas A&M. Of course, before West Texas A&M, he played at Citrus College the past 2 years, where he's a first-team all-conference selection. Swings at this one and grounds it to the first base side, and that will get the job done. That scores the run, and it's 1 apiece here as Johnny Reynoso has the RBI ground out to the first baseman Benning, who steps on the bag. So we have a brand new ball game here as Johnny Reynoso hits in Kyle Garlick, and it's 1-1, top of the second inning. 1 out, and Channing Varela at the dish. Channing Varela hitting .271, but don't let that number fool you. This guy has been raking over the last 2 or 3 weeks in the season. Lines this one into right field, and that's going to be a base hit, and that will get past the right fielder as well. That's Patrone out there. Varela digging in for 2, and he's going to head to third. Varela keeps going, and he's going to be in there with a stand-up triple. So 2 triples here in the inning, one of the stand-up variety and one where Garlick slid, but he really didn't even have to slide as Patrone lets another ball get by him out in right field. But, I mean, he didn't really let it get by him because it was hit that hard. Varela has just been smoking the ball every single time off that bat. And he now has a triple with only 1 out. So another situation right here for the Pirates to really try to get a run. Backdoor breaking ball. 0-1 the count here to Fernando Escobar. But another situation here for the Pirates where you don't have to get a hit to score the run. You just have to get a fly ball to the outfield or a ground ball to the middle infield or a slow grounder like Johnny Reynoso hit. This one misses low in the dirt. Nice job by the catcher, Young, to block that baseball. If that had gone by him, Channing Varela may have come home to score and make it a 2-1 baseball game. Of course, Channing Varela, he wears number 2 and would love nothing more than to be the second run here in this inning for the Pirates. Sticks on the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Grounded to the right side, and that will get the job done. That is an RBI ground out for Fernando Escobar, and it's 2-1 Pirates here in the top of the second inning. So just like that, you give the lead up 1-0 in the bottom of the first, and you come back with 2 triples here in the top of the second, and score both runs on RBI groundouts to the right side. And that's how you manufacture runs, as we were saying, when Fernando Escobar came up to the plate. Here's Christian Kelly. He takes low and away, but it's called a strike, actually. And it's 0-1 here to Christian Kelly, who comes in today, .292 batting average. Swung on and missed, 0-2 the count. Starting his career at UC Santa Barbara before transferring to Cal Poly Pomona. Redshirted at UC Santa Barbara. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And that was a tough at-bat right there for Christian Kelly, who looked like he was overmatched by Brooks Kriske. and he will head back to the dugout after striking out here. But it was a very, very successful inning overall for the Pirates. They scored 2 runs on 2 hits, both of which were triples, and 2 RBI groundouts, that being by Johnny Reynoso and Fernando Escobar. And the Pirates have grabbed a 2-1 lead at the end of 1.5 innings here at Palm Springs Stadium. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back to Palm Springs Stadium for Game 2 of the SCCBL Championship Series. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us here on InlandValleyBaseball.com. 2-1 the score. Pirates have taken the lead after 2 triples in the top of the second inning. One by Kyle Garlick and one by Channing Varela. Then Johnny Reynoso and Fernando Escobar, each with RBI groundouts to the right side of the infield. And that's how the Pirates take the 2-1 lead. Remember, back in the bottom of the first, the Power got 1. Here's the pitch. Misses inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count here for Cody Arott going against Zach Sterry. Sterry, the left-handed DH, going against the left-handed pitcher. Of course, in that one run in the first inning was basically unforced errors, as this fastball is called to strike at the knees, 1-1 the count. Cody Arott walked 3 hitters in the first inning, and then the run was scored on an error. So you feel like right now, taking a 2-1 lead, maybe the Pirates are in control of this game, but we saw some wacky things yesterday as this one misses upstairs, ball 2, 2-1 the count. So you would definitely say, and I was saying in the game yesterday when it was 11-5 and when they started scoring a couple of runs, remember, this is a great hitting team, and it's not over until it's over. And that was certainly the case there. High ground ball down the first base line to Cody Arott, who flips it over to first base for the first out here in the inning. So Zach Sterry is retired as Cody Arott. It seemed like that ball took forever to get into his glove, and I was wondering if Sterry was almost going to beat it out for an infield base hit. But Arott alertly flipped it over to A.J. David. And so 1 up and 1 down here in the second inning. Here's A.J. Young, the catcher from Utah, so plays in the Pac-12. Only a 192 batting average, though, this summer. Fastball away, ball 1, 1-0 the count. For Cody Arott, we mentioned that in the first inning, went to the D3 National Championship and won as a freshman. But he felt like, even though he won the national championship, he was really more excited with how his team played this year as a sophomore because he was more of a part of the team this year as a sophomore. And they still ended up going to the World Series, even though they went 2-out over there. Here's the pitch. In there for called strike 1, and it's 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the second inning. Pirates leading the Power 2-1. Rod comes set, working out of the stretch with nobody on base, as he always does. Swung on a miss, 2-2. And it's interesting because we see a few guys like that on the Pirates who pretty much always work out of the stretch no matter what, never work out of the windup. And usually if you're going to do that, you're a reliever. But obviously today, Cody Arott gets a start, fastball high and away, and nowhere near the zone for number 32, who's kind of fixing the dirt a little bit after the pitch. And it's now full count. Payoff pitch to come here for Cody Arott, going head-to-head against A.J. Young. Swung on and lifted foul and out of play behind home plate. And so we'll do it again. Yet another full count pitch to come here for hitter and pitcher. Well, as we were talking about at the end of the first game, certainly a different atmosphere here, as this one was swung and fouled out of play down the first base line. I mean, there's just so many things that you look at and you think this is really a truly great place to play in a summer collegiate league. First of all, you've got all the ads on the outfield, literally going from left field to right field. You have some music in between innings, misters cooling you off, line drive over towards the second baseman who tries to make a diving backhanded grab. That's Escobar, but it gets past his glove for a base hit by A.J. Young as the crowd roars here at Palm Springs Stadium, and that is the first hit of the game for Palm Springs. So as we mentioned in that first inning, Power scoring 1 run on no hits and 3 walks and the 1 error, of course. And here comes the number 9 hitter in the lineup. This is Nate Pollock. Pollock did not start in game 1, but did come on later in the game as a pinch hitter. He is from Western Illinois, hitting .313 this season. Fastball high and away, ball 1, 1-0 the count, as nobody is getting loose over there down the first base line for the Pirates. I was always looking for that just because Charlie usually does have a pretty quick hook on the pitchers. Here's the pitch. And this one is nowhere near the zone as this gets way away and makes it to the backstop. And the runner will advance into scoring position on the wild pitch by Cody Rott. So A.J. Young now standing on second base, as there was literally nothing Christian Kelly could have done, because first of all, it was about 2 or 3 feet over his head, and then secondly, it was maybe about 5 feet to his right. So tough play right there for the Pirates, and once again, it's sort of the unforced errors that are creeping into this game that you can't really make all these errors in a championship game. But still, Pirates lead 2-1. It's still obviously the early goings, bottom of the second inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch, called a strike on the outside corner, and it's 2-1. Cody Rott taking his time, and now comes set. Fernando holding the runner on. Fastball on the inside, called a strike, and it's 2-2. So that's a good job of pitching right there, just in the sense that you come outside and then you come back in, and you want to try to keep the hitter guessing a bit here. Of course, the hitter is Nate Pollock, the left fielder for Palm Springs. Rott, the left-hander, comes set and fires the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And down goes Pollock. So that'll be the second strikeout of the game for Cody Rott, as the leadoff hitter, Nick King, will step up to the plate. Nick King, he walked and scored the only run of the game back in the first inning. If you remember, when he was on second base, he actually stole third, and the error coming on the throw to third base, as Christian Kelly will be credited the error because he threw it, but it was a ball that I think Johnny would say that 9 out of 10 times he would at least catch it. Maybe not necessarily tag the guy out, but just catch it to ensure that the ball didn't go into the outfield. And if he had caught that, based on what happened the rest of the inning, you would have thought that the Pirates would have gotten out of that inning unscathed with just the 3 walks. But obviously you can't take it back. You can't go back to the future. As Cody Rott checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball away for another ball. Ball 2. 2-0 the count here to Nick King. So Nick King has seen 6 pitches today, all 6 of which have been balls. If you recall, actually, after that first 4-pitch walk, Charlie Reynoso came out for a mound visit and a visit with the home plate umpire, as this one comes inside for strike 1, and it's 2-1. And actually, the last 3 hitters have gone ahead, I should say, 2-0 against Cody Rott before Cody Rott worked it back to 2-2. Let's see if he can do that again. He got 1 strike back, so it's 2-1. Here's the pitch. Grounded to the third base line, foul. And so he did. He did fall behind 2-0 and then got 2 strikes back again, as it was very, very close to being fair and foul, but obviously I think the home plate umpire made the correct call, as Johnny Reynoso was making sure that he was standing in foul territory when he touched the ball with his glove. And so 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the second inning. 2-1 is the score. Inland Valley leading Palm Springs, and Nick King, the leadoff hitter, at the plate for the second time in as many innings for the Power. Rott takes a long look at second before coming home, and this one just misses low for ball 3. And it's a full count, as Charlie Reynoso is giving some signals out to the middle infielders here on a full count pitch. Maybe just in case he was thinking that the runner might try to go. If it's a ball, make sure that you try to get him out. But this one misses outside, and that will be ball 4. So another walk drawn by Nick King, who has walked both times here today. First time on 4 pitches. This time on a full count. And here comes Scotty Burcham. Burcham also walked back in the first inning. As we mentioned, there were 3 hitters walked in the first. And this is sort of, even though the stats don't necessarily back this up, because he has 15 strikeouts and 6 walks coming into today, this is sort of what you think when you see Cody Arott. This one's line foul down the right field line, 0-1 the count. Just kind of inconsistent in the sense that he can strike out a whole bunch of guys, but then on the other hand, sometimes he'll walk a bunch of hitters as well. So far today, a couple of strikeouts, but 4 walks. Finally ahead of a hitter, though, at least here. Here's the 0-1. Fastball in the dirt, and that will be a wild pitch. And both runners advance into second and third base as Christian Kelly couldn't block it there. And it's 1-1. So once again, just more unforced errors. Of course, there's still 2 outs in the inning, but these 2 guys who are on base right now, well, one of them actually did have a hit. That was the first hit of the day by A.J. Young. But Nick King, he was walked, and now both advancing 90 feet on a wild pitch. 1-1 the count, 2 outs, bottom of the second inning. Game 2 of the SCCBL Championship Series. It's a best-of-3 format, so an absolute must-win for the Pirates. This one comes inside, called a strike, and it's 1-2. We talk about it. It's always so important to get ahead of a hitter and just kind of try to keep him off his toes and keep him guessing at what you're going to bring next. And so many of the Pirates pitchers, they would like to work backwards, kind of throw some off-speed pitches to set up their fastball. This one way inside, ball 2, 2-2 the count. Of course, you don't want to necessarily throw it that far inside where the guy has to kind of jump out of the way. You want to set up a purpose pitch, which typically purpose pitches are about 6 to 12 inches off the plate. So they're close enough for the hitter to try to basically protect and offer at it. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. It gets down in the dirt, so Christian Kelly's going to have to throw it down to first base, and he does. And that will be the final out here in the second inning. So Cody Arott, in 2 innings of work, he has 4 walks and 3 strikeouts, but has only allowed 1 run and 1 hit. And the Pirates lead 2-1 at the end of 2. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll head to the top of the third inning. 2-1 is the score. Pirates leading the power here at Palm Springs Stadium as Alec Morabito, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, steps up to the plate for his first at-bat and takes outside ball 1. 1-0 the count here. So if you're just joining us, the score 2-1. Power, they took the lead in the bottom of the first on 3 walks and an error, and scored that 1 run, called strike on the outside. 1-1 the count here to Morabito. And then the Pirates, they answered right away in the top of the second as Kyle Garlick ripped one down the right field line for a triple. He was scored by Johnny Reynoso on an RBI groundout. Towering fly ball to straightaway center field. Clark camped underneath it and makes the catch for the first out here in the third inning. And so Johnny Reynoso got the RBI that scored Kyle Garlick. Then Channing Varela, he followed in suit with another triple down the right field line and ended up scoring on an RBI groundout by Fernando Escobar. And so that's where we stand right now. 2 runs on 2 hits and also 1 error for the Pirates. Meanwhile, Power with 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Greg Espinosa. Espy, 0 for 1 today. Flew out to center field. And Greg Espinosa has been absolutely raking this summer as he takes this one low for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Coming into today, a .397 batting average and a .474 on base percentage, which is maybe even more impressive just for the fact that he reaches base 1 out of every 2 times almost. He checks his swing and holds up, and it's 3-0, so this very well may prove that point of how often he reaches base. If he draws a walk here, 3-0 should be taking all the way, and he is, as this one is a fastball right down Broadway, called to strike, and it's 3-1, and I think he's getting a little bit of a chuckle because I think he thought it was a strike the whole way, but the umpire never really motioned or said anything, so then it looked like he was going to head down to first. Swings at this one and fouls it straight back at the screen. Full count. 3-2 the count here to Greg Espinosa, the 5'10", 165-pound right-handed hitter who was on the Orange Coast College Junior Collegiate State Championship team this past year with his buddy Andrew Alvarez, of course. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled. Out of play. And so we'll do it again. Another full count pitch to come here for number 4, Greg Espinosa. Greg Espinosa, hometown Yucaipa, just like the starting pitcher, Cody Arat, and also like Arat, went to Yucaipa High School, where they were both first-team All-League selections. Greg Espinosa was also the Defensive Player of the Year, his senior year there. And, of course, just like Arat as well, another returning player for the Pirates, one of 17, which we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Really, you look at Orange Coast College and the fact that he went there this past year, and you kind of think they're starting to have a pipeline to Houston Baptist, because that's where both Espinosa and Alvarez are headed, as well as 2 other guys from Orange Coast College went to Houston Baptist last year. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted foul and out of play behind home plate. Over the bleachers here. Some big bleachers out here in Palm Springs Stadium. A lot nicer than the ones at Cal Poly Pomona. But at Cal Poly Pomona, they've gotten a $4 million donation to where they will build up the press box and stadium seats out there. Here's a pitch, breaking pitch in at the knees. Called strike 3 as Greg Espinosa threw his bat thinking that he was going to draw a walk. And so that is the second out of the inning as Espinosa continues to look back at the home plate umpire in disbelief. But from where I'm sitting, and I am sitting in an elevated spot, not behind home plate like I normally am, it looked like that was a good call by the home plate umpire, if I want to be fair and balanced. Here is the pitch for Kyle Jackson. He grounds it to the third base side, takes a kind of big hop over to the third baseman, King. King handles it, though, and fires across the diamond for the final out of the inning. So the side is retired in order here in the top of the third inning. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, it remains a 2-1 ball game. The Pirates leading the power. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the third inning. 2-1 the score, Pirates leading the power. And in between innings, we're kind of giving you a little bit of the sense of what it's like to be here at Palm Springs Stadium, just giving you kind of the atmosphere. I'm sure you kind of got to hear in between innings. They have some events set up and make it fun for the fans out here. And also just trying to create some extra, tension in between innings to go silent and take it all in. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, 0-1. That's just kind of covering up the fact that we have, for some reason, a problem with the music. I was just trying to make up a story there. That's why we are going silent in between innings. Although, as I mentioned, it's not completely silent because you can hear the festivities of the power. This is a towering fly ball in the middle of the infield, and the second baseman, Fernando Escobar, calls for it about 1 foot on the outfield grass, and that'll be the first out here of the inning. So for the very first time here in this game, no, this is actually the second time, excuse me, Cody retires the first hitter. He retired the first hitter back in the second inning as well, but it was really in that first inning where he walked the first 2 that it kind of just seemed like it might have been a little bit worse. But obviously, still 2-1 the score. Pirates leading the power. And here comes Eno Patron. He walked in his first at-bat, first plate appearance, as Arat steps off the mound and gets back in there, towing the rubber from the left side as a left-handed pitcher. As we mentioned, always in the stretch. Here's the pitch. Peppers the outside corner for called strike 1, and 0-1 the count. So for the Pirates, all you have to do is you have to beat the 3-time defending champion twice in a row on their home field to try to rip away the crown from them. Obviously, that will not be any easy feat for Inland Valley, as this has been a team that has dominated the SCCBL really since its inception 8 years ago. But this season, Inland Valley got a split against the Power, and nobody has done that for quite some time in league play. Here's the pitch. Up and in, ball 2, 2-1 the count. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, bottom of the third inning. here at Palm Springs Stadium. Once again, so glad you've joined us here on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We really appreciate the fact that we had so many views on our broadcast yesterday. Yesterday, 203 views for the entire broadcast from start to finish, as this one is grounded to the right side. Three-chopper over to the second baseman, Fernando Escobar, who fields cleanly and makes the throw to first base to retire Eno Patron. Eno Patron slamming his bat in disgust after grounding that ball to the right side. Maybe felt that he could have gotten better hit on that one. Really hit more power on that pitch, but obviously Fernando Escobar with the sure hands there makes the play. And Fernando Escobar, he is one of the better middle infielders you'll see. I mean, that last one was a routine play, but if you get a chance to watch him, here's the pitch, and it's grounded foul down the first base line. 0-1 the count here to Hunter Benning. Benning's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. If you get a chance to watch Fernando Escobar, just watch his hands. They are so quick, and he is a very, very talented middle infielder. I say middle infielder because he's played second base and shortstop this season. And another guy that, if you want to watch him play, Kyle Jackson, he is a real gamer. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2. Jackson's the designated hitter today, so you won't see him out there on the field. But he is a real gamer. I just love the way he plays, both in the field and at bat. 0-2 the count. 2 outs. Bottom of the third inning. Pirates still leading 2-1. They scored both runs in the top of the second after the Power scored 1 run in the bottom of the first. So the Pirates answering right back in what has been a very exciting championship series so far. Nothing like the championship series last year. Here's the pitch. And this one is swung on and fouled out of play behind home plate. And we'll do it again. Another 0-2 pitch to come here for Cody Arat working against Hunter Benning. Well, the series last year was just an epic beatdown as the Power took down the Legends in 2 games, but the 2 scores of those games were in the double digits. Here's the pitch, high and away, ball 1, 1-2 the count. Of course, these 2 teams tying with a 12-4 league record during the regular season. Power won the tiebreaker on run differential in the 4 games that were split between the 2 teams. This one comes inside, ball 2, 2-2 the count. So with Cody Arat, as we mentioned, it's just the sense that he looks electric at times, and then at other times you kind of think, whoa, where did that pitch come from? And that last one was kind of like that, as the hitter, Hunter Benning, had to basically jump out of the way, and it's 2-2 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. Here's the pitch from Arat. Checks his swing. Did he go? They appeal down to first base, and no, says the first base umpire. And Hunter Benning really thought about going at that one, but checks his swing there, as it looked like pretty much everybody was running off the field. Cody Arat, especially Fernando Escobar, and Channing Varela was heading over towards the first base dugout as well. And now it's a full count pitch, so payoff pitch to come. Here it is. Swung and grounded to the left side. Backhanded grab made by Channing Varela. Deep in the hole. He fires to first base. Dig made, but not in time. Great play right there by Channing Varela, but it will be an infield single for Hunter Benning as Channing Varela. Wow, what a great backhanded diving catch, ranging to his right deep in the hole. Got up and fired a dart. And A.J. David as well making a great dig, but just couldn't beat out Hunter Benning. So Hunter Benning gets a measure of revenge after being struck out in his first at-bat. Comes with a single here in his second at-bat against Cody Arat. And here comes Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark, 0 for 1, flew out to his counterpart in center field. Ryan Clark from Chico State takes low and away, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Let's sort of try to catch your breath a little bit, especially after what happened yesterday. 18-13, the final score of Game 1 of the championship series, which was finished earlier today. Obviously, it being finished today because the game couldn't be finished yesterday due to darkness. And this one bounces in the dirt and gets by the catcher. And that'll be the third wild pitch of the game for Cody Arat. And now the runner reaches second base. That's Benning. And he's in scoring position here for the Power. He represents the tying run, as it looks like there's a little bit of movement in the Pirates dugout, but not really. I'm not exactly sure that was, well, that was Jordan Sheffs who was walking around there, but there's no way I would think that he would be pitching today. I mean, he pitched 3 2/3 innings on Monday against Team San Diego, and also coming in yesterday in relief as well. But he was just, I guess, walking around over there because now he's right back in the dugout. And the movement wasn't to the bullpen out there in right field, just in case you were wondering. But he's actually walking with Charlie Reynoso, so I'm not exactly sure what that's. Oh, now he sits down. It looked like he was walking with Charlie for a second. But 2-0 the count here to Ryan Clark. Here's the pitch. Ground ball up the middle, and that might make it through for base hit. Yes, it does. It makes it through. Morabito firing home, and the ball is cut off and gets down onto the ground as the Power score their second run of the day on an RBI single by Ryan Clark. Clark then advances to second base on the throw, which was not cut off. It was the pitcher, Cody Arat, who tried to cut it off and couldn't catch it. So another unforced error, really, coming to haunt the Pirates here in the third inning. At first, Benning gets the single, but then he goes to second on a wild pitch, and you put him in the scoring position, and the Power come through with a base hit up the middle to knot it up at 2 apiece, as Ryan Clark has certainly been a very, very good hitter for the Power here in these 2 games, both yesterday and today. Christian Kelly calls for time and heads out to the mound to kind of talk things over here with Cody Arat about exactly what they want to do here with Zach Sterry. Sterry, he's 0 for 1, grounded out to Cody Arat, the pitcher. And if you remember, he had a high chopper down the first base line that seemed like it took forever to finally reach the glove of Cody. Here's the pitch, up and in, and that might have nicked him. No, it didn't. And it's 1-0 here. Charlie Reynoso pacing around down the first base line. He has been certainly pacing around pretty much all game. Normally he usually just sits in his spot. This one's lifted to deep left field. Running in relentless pursuit is the left fielder Espinosa, but it lands harmlessly foul by about 5 to 10 feet down that left field line. And we were starting to wonder, speaking of Espinosa, obviously Greg is normally a shortstop or second baseman, so having him there in left field, you were going to wonder if maybe at some point that might end up hurting the Pirates just because he's not familiar. Not necessarily that he might be, bad outfielder. It's just that he hasn't played the position all summer long. So you obviously need to get some reps out there. And the reason you think about him being out there is because you look at all the middle infielders and they're just so good. I mean, you've got one in the form of Greg Espinosa actually in left field, one in Kyle Jackson DHing, and then you have Channing Varela and Fernando Escobar playing at second and short. 1-1 the count, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 1-2 as Christian Kelly blocks that baseball, almost got away from him again. 2-2 the score, bottom of the third inning. It was the Power who took a 1-0 lead in the top of the first before the Pirates answered with 2 in the top of the second and took the 2-1 lead, and then Power getting 1 here in the bottom of the third, and it's 2 apiece. That's where we stand. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and this hits the hitter in the right arm. So Zach Sterry is hit by a pitch by Cody Arat. And so just another scenario here where you put a guy on base who really you should have been able to get out in the sense that you were up 1-2 on that count, and it's the last thing you want to do on a 1-2 is to hit the batter. Here comes A.J. Young. A.J. Young had the very first hit of the game for the Power back in the second inning and singled back in the second. Of course, in the bottom of the first, the Power actually scored that 1 run with no hits, scoring on 3 walks and 1 error. First pitch called to strike, 0-1 the count here for Cody Arat. Cody Arat, as we mentioned, very, very successful at Linfield. Hoping to maybe hoist up another championship by the end of tomorrow. If the Pirates could hold on and, well, actually, obviously they lost the lead here, but if they could win this game and then Tomorrow, who knows what would happen in a best of 3, game 3. This one's called a strike, and it's 0-2 here for Cody Arat. Cody Arat going head-to-head with A.J. Young, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Should he reach base, it'll be Nate Pollock next. Runners off with the pitch, and they will both steal as they have been reading Cody Arat's motion the whole game. And so stolen bases by Ryan Clark and Zach Sterry. And now the Power have 2 men in scoring position. And I'm not exactly sure why they're being able to read his moves so easily. Especially because as a left-handed pitcher, normally it's harder to read a lefty. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes A.J. Young. So Cody Arat does get out of the inning as the Power leave 2 men on base, but do score 1 run here in the bottom of the 3rd inning on a couple base hits. And the score is now 2-2. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top before we go, 2-2 is the new score after the Power tied it up in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It'll be A.J. David leading things off here. 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup is where we are, right in the heart of the order for the Pirates. So this should be a big inning for Inland Valley. Here's the first pitch from Kriske, and it misses outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count here to A.J. David. David 0 for 1 with a strikeout in this game. But yesterday, I think the way he hit the ball yesterday is why he's in the lineup here today. 3 doubles in that game. Swings and misses at this one. And it's 1-1 here to A.J. David. 6'2", 200-pound left-handed hitter. Majors in kinesiology and says he would like to be a physical therapist or trainer once his baseball playing days are over. That day might not come for a while, as not only is he a talented hitter, but also very good as a relief pitcher. This one just paints the black on the outside corner, and it's 1-2 here to A.J. David. A.J. David, he was second in the state in RBI as a sophomore with 43 RBIs at the junior collegiate level. So he is definitely a run-scoring machine with that bat. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted into center field, left center field at that. Charging in and making the grab is the left fielder Pollock, who calls off the shortstop Burcham. And that'll be the first out here of the 4th inning. So 5 consecutive hitters retired here by Brooks Kriske, and 6 going back to Fernando Escobar, who had the RBI groundout. Here's Kyle Garlick. Kyle Garlick, he started off the rally in the 2nd inning with a triple down the right field line and scored on the RBI groundout by Johnny Reynoso. He also hit the 3-run home run that gave the Pirates the lead, I should say. Ground ball left side, 2-chopper over towards the 3rd baseman King, who makes a nice sidearm throw and retires Kyle Garlick here in the 4th inning. So 5-3 on that putout, and here comes Johnny Reynoso. Reynoso's 0 for 1 with the aforementioned RBI. Ground out going to the first baseman, Hunter Benning, as Reynoso steps in for his 2nd at-bat. As we mentioned, Reynoso has been very, very good this season, hitting .388, 12 runs scored, 7 RBIs, and surprise, surprise, another base hit for Johnny, as that is lined up the middle. He had 4 hits yesterday, and that is his first here today, as the Pirates are looking for a 2-out rally here in the top of the 4th inning. I guess the biggest surprise may be that the fact that after scoring 5 runs in the 3rd inning 2 straight days, they scored no runs in the 3rd here, but they were up 2-1 at that point. Obviously, the Power tying it up in the bottom of the 3rd to make it 2-2. But Johnny Reynoso, he has just been on fire, as too has Channing Varela, who has a triple down the right field line and scored on an RBI by Fernando Escobar. He takes inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Channing Varela. Channing Varela, 5'9", 170 pounds. So small in stature, but he comes up big at the plate. Does the sophomore from Riverside City College. Actually, he was at Riverside City this past year and swings at this one and fouls it behind home plate. But told me yesterday that he is headed to Orange Coast College next season. So he will be a very good addition for them, a team that is looking to defend their JC State Championship. And it's 1-1 here with 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. Brooks Kriske still on the mound, right-handed pitcher from USC. going against Channing Varela. Varela, hometown Chino, went to Chino High School. As Johnny Reynoso takes a pretty small lead off of first base. Kriske takes a look over there quickly and now fires home, high and in for ball 2. So both balls to Channing Varela were up and in, and it's now 2-1 to number 2 here for the Pirates. Channing Varela up at bat right now. Should he reach base, it's Fernando Escobar on deck, and then Christian Kelly in the hole. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and lined into center field. Going back is the center fielder Clark, and he will make the catch for the final out of the inning. Johnny Reynoso was actually kind of tagging up in between first and second, which with 2 outs you got to just run, but doesn't matter because the catch is made out there anyways. And so Varela is retired on a line out to center field. But once again, even though that ball was caught out there by the center fielder Clark, he is just hitting it very, very hard no matter where he ends up making contact with it, is number 2, Channing Varela. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, the score remains 2-2. Pirates and Power knotted up in Game 2 of the championship series for the SCCBL. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-2 is the score. Power and Pirates, they are gridlocked here as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And Nate Pollock steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 1, struck out back in the 2nd inning. And then it's back to the top of the lineup for the Power. So this is a huge spot right here for Nate Pollock to try to turn this over to the top of the lineup if he can reach base here and be that extension of the leadoff hitter we talk about so often. And this one misses low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. So often anyways, the number 9 hitter, you could almost interchange him with the number 1 hitter, as they're normally good contact hitters, speedy runners. Here's the pitch. And this one's in there for strike 1, 1-1 the count. Nate Pollock is from Western Illinois, .313 batting average with the Palm Springs Power. Cody Arott shakes his head no to Christian Kelly's sign and now likes what he sees and comes set. Here's the 1-1 offering. Swung on and lined in the left center field for a base hit. That might be an extra base hit. Catching it is Alec Morabito. Actually gets by Morabito. And I might have fooled the runner, Nate Pollock, a bit there, because it looked like, by the way Morabito had caught it, that he had the ball in his glove. And so the runner, Pollock, held up at first, but it actually got by him, and the left fielder Greg Espinosa was there to make the catch. So just a long line drive single there for Nate Pollock, and he does exactly what we were talking about as a number 9 hitter. He reaches base and now turns it over to the top of the lineup. And Nick King has reached base both times here today, both via the walk. Scored the game's first run on an error. Squares around on this one. Sacrifice bunt laid down. Cody Arott will field it and throw to first, and an error is made as the runner will now go to third base here. And so just trying to sacrifice, and not only do you get the sac bunt down, but you reach base on the throwing error by Cody Arott. So Cody Arott makes the error as there are now runners on the corners here for Cody Arott. Here's Scotty Burcham. Still no outs. Bottom of the 4th inning. 2-2 the score. Burcham's 0 for 1. Struck out and reached on a walk. This one misses outside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Good job by Christian Kelly just to make sure that that ball didn't get to the backstop. Otherwise, it would have been a 3-2 ball game. Power leading. But he did make the catch, and so it's 1-0. Here's the pitch. This one's grounded to the right side. Espinosa, actually that's not Escobar, excuse me. That'll be a 4-6-3 double play. But the run does come home to score. So no RBI, because on a double play you do not get an RBI. But 2 outs, but the Power do take the lead nonetheless, and they're happy to take that 3-2 lead. I just think yesterday I saw Espinosa there at second, and obviously we mentioned Espinosa is in left. So it was Escobar who fielded it at second and flipped it to Varela, and they turned that 4-6-3 double play. The Power have taken a lead, 3-2 the score, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. First pitch misses outside for ball 1 to Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman is 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts in this game. So for the Pirates, you are just kind of shooting yourselves in the foot, so to speak, as this one misses low and inside. We've chronicled what happened in the first inning, a run being scored on no hits and 3 walks and an error. And then here in this inning, another run coming in basically because of an error, as the pitch comes and catches the inside. 2-1 the count. Sacrifice bunt was laid down, but the runner should have only got to second base, not to third, and ended up going to third on the error. Here's the pitch. Swung and fouled off the ankle, and it's 2-2. In fact, you look back at the second run of the game that was scored by the Power, and that one as well, another error. Not an error, but a wild pitch, so another unforced error, I should say, where you put the guy on second base and he should have been on first, and then you have a line drive up the middle that scores him. Here's the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch, way outside, ball 3, full count. Well, we're looking down towards the right field line, and it looks like everybody is up there in the bullpen. Here's the pitch. Fouled right back at them over there down the first base line. Who's up over there is Gil Perez, Charlie Reynoso, Dylan Lowenstein, the catcher, and it looks like it would be Ryan Romero, who we saw kind of mobilizing earlier in the game. And that is Ryan Romero down there just about getting ready. Swung on and missed. This is a strikeout, but it gets past Christian Kelly. So the runner reaches on a strikeout. And so that will be an error charged to Kelly, the second of the game for him. And as great as he's been all season long, he has really struggled these past 2 days. And I just don't know if it's because maybe he's tired or something, but the past 2 days, especially from about the middle of the game yesterday on here to today, it's been very tough for him, but the pitchers haven't made it easy on him as well. I mean, the pitchers have been throwing lots of wild pitches and kind of just, hanging him out to dry, so to speak. But that one was actually a strikeout. Here's the pitch. Called to strike on the inside corner. 0-1 the count here to Eno Patron. So the Power, they get the third run of the game here. It was Nate Pollock who singled, then advanced to third base on a sacrifice as there was an error on the pitcher. This one misses low and away. Ball 1. 1-1 the count here. Patron is 0 for 1, grounded out to the second baseman and walked back in the first. After he grounded out to Escobar at second base, he slammed his bat down. Here's the pitch, and it misses high and in. 2-1 the count. It is still pretty warm here in Palm Springs, even though it's obviously nighttime. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted to deep left field, down the left field line. Greg Espinosa in relentless pursuit and makes the catch about 5 feet away from the line. And really, Greg Espinosa, he's a guy that normally plays in the middle infield, but he tracked that one down to perfection. And so that will do it here for the 4th inning. But the Power take a lead. They lead 3-2 now at the end of 4. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top of 5 we go. Dave Soberi on the play-by-play. Welcome back on InlandValleyBaseball.com. 3-2 is the score. Palm Springs has taken the lead over Inland Valley as this fastball misses away for ball 1 to Fernando Escobar. Escobar 0 for 1 with an RBI, 5'10", 165 left-handed hitter from San Francisco State. One of 4 Gators on this Pirate team. Here's the pitch. This one's called to strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-1 to Fernando. Well, Fernando was a member of the Fullerton College team that finished as the state runner-up a couple years ago with Ryan Romero, who's also, of course, a pitcher on the team. Here's the 1-1, and misses low and inside, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Hometown is Corona and went to Corona High School, did number 1, where he was an all-league and of course, the Defensive Player of the Year. We've talked about how great he is in the field. This one's lined over towards the third baseman, King, and he makes the catch in the air. I thought it might have bounced at first, but he obviously caught it on the line as he kind of crouched down and made the catch for the first out here in the inning. So down goes Escobar, and here comes Christian Kelly. Kelly's 0 for 1, struck out in the second inning. Kelly hitting .292, 11 RBIs, 11 runs. Lines this one up the middle, and will that get down? No, it will not. A nice diving catch made out in center field by Clark, as it was another line drive hit, but another line drive at a fielder. Of course, it was Fernando Escobar who lined it to the third baseman, and then Clark makes the diving catch out in center field and retires Christian Kelly. And Christian Kelly really stuck that one nonetheless. So even though there's 2 outs here, you might feel a little bit good about the sense that you're still hitting the ball hard if you're the Pirates. Swung on and missed, strike 1, 0-1 the count here to Alec Morabito. Morabito flew out to his counterpart in center field, Clark, in his only at-bat back in the third inning. So he is 0 for 1, 304 batting average. Has scored 13 runs on the season, which is near the top for the team. And this one catches the black on the outside corner, 0-2 the count. Also has 8 RBIs, this Alec Morabito. I know he is a guy that really enjoyed seeing the high desert heat this season and really just demolished their hitting all season long. Their pitching, I should say, all season long, as this one is swung and foul behind home plate, and it will remain 0-2. Morabito steps out of the batter's box and kind of resituates himself. Now digs back in. Here's the pitch from Krisky. Fastball swung on and missed, blown by the hitter Morabito. And so Morabito strikes out, and the side is retired in order here in the 5th inning. And we are halfway through this ballgame. 4.5 innings complete. The score is 3-2. Pirates are trailing the Power. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-2 the score, Power leading the Pirates. As Hunter Benning will come up, he is 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the 3rd inning and struck out back in the 1st inning. So it will be 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup for Palm Springs here against Cody Arat, who remains on the hill for the Pirates. First pitch. Called a strike on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. A very good attendance here at Palm Springs Stadium for Game 2 of the Championship Series of the SCCBL. Here's the 0-1. Misses inside, 1-1 the count. Well, after today, should the Pirates force a Game 3, they would obviously need to come back, but if they are able to do that, there will be Game 3 tomorrow at 7 o'clock. If they're not able to do that, there will be a few Pirates on this team that will make the All-Star game, and that will be played Saturday right back here at Palm Springs Stadium. This one is swung and fouled out of play behind home plate and hits one of the bleachers in the top rows here at Palm Springs Stadium, and it's now 1-2 here to Hunter Benning. Cody Arat, as we mentioned, hasn't really worked that many innings this season. In fact, coming into today, only 14 2/3, so that's more or less 2 games if you're starting. And this one misses low for a ball, 2-2 the count. But obviously we mentioned that performance he had against the San Diego Force, and we mentioned how good they are. 5 innings and no hits allowed in relief there was very impressive. This one is cracked down the left field line, and that is going to be a no doubt line drive extra base hit here for Hunter Benning, who goes to second base on a stand-up double. And off the bat, man, I felt like that might have been gone, but just can't get out of this park. 349 down the line. If you look at that, it is pretty far down the line. Maybe not necessarily to center field. It's only 385, but 349 is a pretty good poke. If you think about Dodger Stadium down the left field line is 330. Here's Ryan Clark. as that was a double that was absolutely smoked off the bat of Hunter Benning, who now has his second hit of the day. And here, as we mentioned, is Ryan Clark. He's 1 for 2, has an RBI single and also stole a base and flew out to center field, so 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the pitch, squaring around and letting it go is Clark, and that was a good decision because the pitch misses outside for ball 1. So a very, very big situation here for Cody Arott as he gives up a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 5th inning. His team trailing by 1 run. The score is 3-2. We'll take a look over at second base. No one holding on. And this one is called a strike. 1-1 the count. So you think that even though Ryan Clark is in the 6th hole here today, he was the leadoff hitter yesterday, so he should be a guy that should be able to handle his bat well and could be able to lay one down for a sacrifice bunt should the Power want to do that. You'd almost think what would be the harm in trying to do that, as this one is swung on and fouled down the first base line. The reason I was saying that, and now obviously the bunt is completely off because there's a 2-strike count, but the reason I was saying that is because they actually did a sacrifice bunt earlier in the game, and not only did the sacrifice work, but there ended up being an error on the pitcher, Cody Arott. So the runner reached base, and the man who they were sacrificing the second made it all the way to third. But obviously, as we mentioned, the sacrifice off now here as the pitch misses in the dirt. 2-2 the count. Another good block by Christian Kelly. But you almost think that maybe the Power don't feel like runs will be at a premium. It's 3-2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Because if you felt that the runs were at a premium, you probably would have tried the sacrifice there. Here's the pitch. And this one is swung on and fouled down the first base line and out of play. And it will remain 2-2 here, as we've had a lot of pretty long at-bats here in this game, especially with the Power challenging Cody Arott. Cody Arott comes set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and this one, once again, fouled into the screen down the first base line. And it will remain a 2-2 count here for Cody Arott, working against Ryan Clark. So Ryan Clark at bat. Zach Sterry waiting on the on-deck circle. And A.J. Young is in the hole for the Palm Springs Power. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled again down the first base line. And so yet again, we will have another 2-2 count here for Cody Arott going against Ryan Clark. Well, if wearing down the pitcher is the name of the game, Palm Springs has done a good job of extending a lot of counts here in this game, and to ensure that Cody Arott, he's must have thrown a lot of pitches already, and it's just the 5th inning. So the Pirates are obviously going to have to bring in another option pretty soon, you would think, as this pitch misses upstairs, ball 3. And right as I'm saying that, once again, Ryan Romero is running down to the bullpen, and this time it looks for real that he is going to start warming up over there. So yes, he is now officially getting loose. Before he was just playing catch, and this is a fastball that's high and away for ball 4, and another walk issued by Cody Arott. So Cody Arott, he hadn't walked anybody in a couple innings, although he did hit a batter back in the 3rd inning. But that was actually his first walk since the 2nd inning. 5th walk of the day, and the 1-hit batter. And here is the left-handed hitter, Zach Sterry. He was the one that was hit by the pitch, in fact, and also grounded out to Cody Arott. So he is 0 for 1 in this game. 2 men on, no outs, bottom of the 5th inning. 3-2 the score, Pirates trailing the Power. Squaring around and trying to lay one down. It's a bunt up in the air, but foul, as nobody could get to it in time. So to be 0-1 here to Zach Sterry. And if you're a hitter, always the first thing you want to do if you're trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt, obviously the first thing you want to do is get the ball down. But the second thing, or actually before you can get the ball down, you want to bunt a strike. That is the number 1 goal if you're a hitter. And that one was up and in and certainly not a strike, and that's why he kind of hit a fly ball bunt. Here's the 0-1. And this one hit the batter, and he was just trying to sacrifice, but I don't think he ever brought the bat back. I mean, I didn't necessarily see him bring the bat back, but Charlie Reynoso will not argue that, as he's seen enough here from Cody Arat, and so that'll do it for Cody. So you can close the book on him after he hits another batter. So that is the same batter he hit twice, Zach Sterry. And Cody Arat, as we mentioned, a bit inconsistent. Struck out a bunch, but also walked a bunch. And the dugout will congratulate Cody Arat, but he has left Ryan Romero in a very, very difficult situation with the bases loaded and no outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And so it was Hunter Benning who cracked the line drive double down the left field line that had one-hopped the wall out there, and off the bat thinking that maybe it would have even been a home run. But luckily for the Pirates, it stayed in the park. And then unforced errors rearing their ugly heads in the form of a walk to Ryan Clark and a hit batter by Zach, and that was Zach Sterry. So we'll step away for a few moments as Ryan Romero gets loosened up here in the bottom of the 5th inning at Palm Springs Stadium. And welcome back. Still in the bottom of the 5th inning, Ryan Romero inheriting 3 base runners. Yes, the Power have the bases loaded here. No runs in yet. It was Hunter Benning who led off the inning with the double down the left field line. Ryan Clark, he was walked, and Zach Sterry hit by a pitch. And that hit batter was really difficult because they were just trying to sacrifice in that situation, and they were trying to give up and out. Here's the first pitch, and it misses away. Ball 1, 1-0 the count to A.J. Young. Ryan Romero, 6'5", 190-pound right-handed hurler from San Francisco State, is now on the mound. Steps off the mound and gets back in there. He has had a very good season with the Pirates, as most of the pitchers on this team have. But it kind of fell apart yesterday. And now Ryan steps off the mound for the 2nd consecutive time, and Christian Kelly will call for time, as I guess they're not seeing eye to eye as the pitcher and catcher normally do. Ryan Romero coming into today, 30 1/3 innings pitched for the Pirates, 15 strikeouts, 5 walks, a 1.19 ERA, and a 0.86 whip. So he has been very, very strong for the Pirates this season. Kind of under the radar has number 25 been for Inland Valley. Romero comes set. Here is the 1-0. This one misses up for ball 2, and it's 2-0. Well, the thing that makes Ryan Romero good is when he gets ahead of hitters, and now falling behind 2-0, this could be a tough situation for him with the bases loaded. Corner infielders playing in, the middle infielders playing in double play depth to try to turn 2. This will be a called strike on the outside corner, and it's 2-1. So big pitch right there for Ryan Romero, and an off-speed pitch to get back into this at-bat to not allow the hitter to get to a 3-0 count. Time called for by that very hitter from Utah, A.J. Young. He is 1 for 1, singled in the 2nd inning and struck out in the 3rd. Here's the pitch from Romero, and this one misses low. Ball 3, 3-1 the count. So it's a 3-1 count. Hitter's pitch to come, as we have a bunch of movement now in the bullpen. Looks like it might be Aaron Reynoso stretching out over there. And also hustling down there is Brett Early, who actually finished that 9th inning off. This one misses low, and it's ball 4. And so that'll be a walk and a bases loaded. So that will score the 4th run of the day, and that will be an RBI credited to A.J. Young.
All right, fans, it's another pivotal moment. We have the bases loaded. We need you guys to get up, get loud.
Here's Nate Pollock, 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 4th, struck out in the 2nd inning. As the Pirates now trail 4-2 with the number 9 hitter in the lineup up. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch misses away, ball 1, 1-0 the count here. Time called for by Charlie Reynoso, as Brett Early continues to get loosened up in the pen. Actually, that was not Aaron Reynoso I believe that's Conlon McKenzie over there getting loose, kind of stretching out down the right field line, but it is Brett Early who was warming up. Brett Early finished the 9th inning off, gave up a run in that inning, but the run was unearned because there was an error by Kyle Garlick, the right fielder, that allowed that run to score in that inning. But for the Pirates, this is a very, very difficult situation. Bases still loaded, nobody out, bottom of the 5th inning. 4-2 is the score. Ryan Romero comes set in the stretch. Here's the 1-0. Fastball, called a strike, and it's 1-1. Well, as we mentioned, the last batter, corner infielders are playing in. Meanwhile, the middle infielders playing double play depth. Here's the 1-1, and it's foul tipped, and it's now 1-2. Ryan Romero, of course, one of 4 San Francisco State players on this team. One of the other 4 is Fernando Escobar, who's at second base right now. Romero, one of the few guys not from Southern California initially. His hometown is Nampa, Idaho. Went to Columbia High School there. Was the 4A Southern Idaho Conference Player of the Year as a senior in Idaho before going to Fullerton College and being part of a JC State runner-up, and then also, of course, transferring to San Francisco State, which we just mentioned, which is where he will be a senior next season. Ryan Romero's favorites are the Dodgers. That would be his favorite team, and Nolan Ryan, his favorite pitcher and player. Here's the 1-2 count here for Ryan Romero, as there was a little bit of stoppage of play. Here's the 1-2. This one is a fly ball hit down the first base line, charging in, and not being able to make the catch is Kyle Garlick. And so that'll be a bloop base hit as another run comes home to score, and it is now 5-2, Power on top of the Pirates. So that'll be an RBI single by Nate Pollock, as Kyle Garlick was basically showing glove like he was going to be able to make it and catch it, but obviously he knew he wasn't going to be able to get there in time, so he was just trying to make sure that a second run didn't come home to score, and he did that. But the bases are still loaded, no outs, and 5-2 is the score here. Power on top of the Pirates. Back to the top of the lineup, and Nick King, he swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls it out of play over the first base bleachers, and it's 0-1. Well, Brett Early, we mentioned, was warming up, but he is now done, and it looks like Conlon McKenzie is loosening up now. Here's the 0-1, and this one misses low and away. Ball 1-1 the count. Well, for the Pirates, it's tough because you also have Michael Koval available. Here's the pitch. This one's lined into right field. Charging in is Kyle Garlick. So that'll be the first out. He's going to throw in home, and it's cut off by A.J. David as another run comes home to score. And it is now 6-2 on the RBI sac fly by Nick King. So the Pirates finally get one out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Still 2 runners on base with only 1 out, as all 3 runs that reached are charged to Cody Arat, and the book is now closed on him because the people that scored doubled off Cody Arat, walked, and were hit by a pitch by Arat. So Arat now finishes the game with 4 innings and 6 runs allowed. And here is Scotty Burcham. Scotty Burcham 0-for-2. Grounded out into double play in his last at bat. The Pirates would love that right here. Low and away, ball 1-1 the count. Definitely love to get an inning-ending double play and just go to the top of the 6th inning with the minimum amount of damage. I mean, if you look at it, it's been a very tough game. Even though the Pirates did have a lead at the end of 2 innings, they were leading 2-1, but the Power, they have scored in every single inning other than the second. This one misses low, 2-0 the count. And no matter what you want to say about the first run was scored on 3 walks and an error, they still did get that run, and they have continued to score runs even though a few of them have been unearned, as there have been a bunch of errors. This one is lined off Romero, and it bounces into left field. The throw is going to come home from Greg Espinosa. Nice jumping catch made by Christian Kelly. He applies the tag, but the hitter kicks it out of his glove, and the run is scored as Ryan Romero was absolutely lit up by the baseball on that one. And Coach Espinosa is going to come out to make sure that he's okay, as yet another run comes home to score on the single by Scotty Bertram. Bertram ends up getting the second base on the throw home. And Pollock advancing to third as everybody's coming to check in on him now. It's Ryan Marcos, Coach Espinosa, and A.J. David, also the Power trainers out there. And now Charlie Reynoso comes out last because I think Charlie didn't want to come out there because if he comes out there again, that's the second mound visit, and Romero will have to come out of the game, and that's exactly what happens now as Romero slams his glove in disgust, and Brett Early enters the game. So this will be the first time Early enters this game, but he actually pitched the first inning today, which was actually the 9th inning of Game 1. So Brett Early coming back in as Ryan Romero is taken out because of what happened there. He was hit very hard by the baseball. And so we'll step away, still in the bottom of the 5th inning. 4 runs in the inning now. The score is 7-2, Power leading the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We are still in the bottom of the 5th inning. Only 1 out, 4 runs in. Brett Early has come in relief of Ryan Romero, who just went a third of an inning and was hit very hard by a baseball, as this one is not in there for a strike. It's actually a ball, and it's 1-0 here for Jordan Zimmerman, who's 0 for 3, but did reach on a strikeout. Error by the catcher, Christian Kelly. And that last play, Christian Kelly made a nice leaping catch. The infield's in, Varela comes home, and the throw is bounced to home plate. And so that'll be an error on the shortstop as another run comes home to score. And so another error rearing its ugly head for the Pirates, as there are not too many of these 8 runs that are earned. Just so many mistakes, and you can't afford to make all those mistakes. And maybe some of them are scored by not necessarily errors, but unforced errors, as I was saying earlier in the game, in the sense that with Cody Arott, you had a bunch of walks, a couple hit batters, and so you're just giving the Power, runs basically. You're giving them base runners, and they're a good team. And when they get all those base runners on, swung on and missed, big hack taken by Eno Patron, 0-1 the count. And they get all those runners on base, sooner or later they're going to come through. And they have put 5 on the board here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They lead 8-2. Runners still in the corners here for Brett Early, as Channing Varela tried to, really the infield was playing in, so it worked to perfection. It was hit right at him. This one misses away for a ball, 1-1 the count. And Channing Varela did not make a good throw. It bounced to Christian Kelly, and Kelly couldn't handle it. And so that was the error on the shortstop that allowed another run to score. Early checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. This one misses outside, 2-1 the count. Brett Early, 6'2", 205-pound right-handed pitcher from the University of Laverne. One of 2 Leopards on this team, the other being Nolan Henley. Of course, on the Bucks, there's also Diego Cortez, so 3 in total for the Inland Valley Baseball Association for University of Laverne. Swung on and missed, 2-2 the count here to Eno Patron. Brett Early's major is math. Hometown, Chino, went to Don Lugo High School, where he was an all-CIF selection and all-league selection 3 times, and also participated in 3 sports at Don Lugo, including, of course, baseball, football, and wrestling. Runners off with the pitch. This one is swung on and lifted fly ball in foul territory. Christian Kelly will make the catch for the second out of the inning. And so Patron is retired here for the third time and falls to 0 for 3 on the day. And here comes Hunter Benning. Hunter Benning, he is the man that started this inning off with a double and scored. So this is now the 10th hitter in the inning to come up and bat here for the Power. That is something that was unfortunately happened yesterday twice. Power sent up 10 hitters twice yesterday and scored 6 runs each of those times. Called strike, 0-1 the count here to Hunter Benning. Benning, couple runs scored, a single and a double, and struck out back in the first inning. Early checks the runner at first, comes set. Here's the pitch. Off the fist and foul, and it's 0-2. And Brett Early is doing really what you would like to see if you're a Pirate fan, just in the sense that he's come in and he's throwing strikes. And if they can hit him, they hit him. But really what you got to do is you just got to throw the strikes and give yourself a chance to get the batter out. Of course, Early, this is his second year on the Pirates. Here's the pitch. 0-2 swung on and missed. And that'll be strike 3 as the hitter goes down here. But the damage was certainly done here in the inning as the Power, they plate 5 runs in the 5th. 5 looking like it's the magic number for the Power. And they break the game open. It's 8-2 at the end of 5 innings. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back to Palm Springs Stadium, top of the 6th inning. 8-2 the score. Power have taken the lead here by 6 runs after a 5-run 5th inning. First pitch swung on by Greg Espinosa and lifted into right field. Charging is the right fielder and first baseman, but it's in foul territory as Patron makes a sliding attempt in the middle of the Pirates bullpen out over there. Speaking of the bullpen, there's yet another Pirate down that right field line that looks like he might be considering getting loosened up. I personally would consider leaving Brett Early in for a while. As we mentioned, Brett Early looked pretty good just since he came in, just in the sense that he's throwing strikes, and that was really what you wanted in that situation. You just got to start throwing some strikes, and hopefully the hitters will, basically make outs themselves, but also striking out a hitter to finish the inning, as this one is swung on and fouled straight back at the screen by Greg. He is 0 for 2, flew out to center field in the first inning and struck out looking in the third inning. In the third inning, he didn't really like the call as he kind of stared back at the home plate umpire while he was heading to his dugout. In fact, originally he had thrown his bat and made it a few steps down the first base line, assuming that it would be a walk. Here is the 0-2. Low and away, ball 1. 1-2 the count for Greg Espinosa. Greg Espinosa this season hitting .397 and 18 runs. That leads the team. This one misses low and away. 2-2 the count. And this is something, and this is a reason why we mentioned his on-base percentage earlier in the game of being .474. This is a reason why he is so good at getting on base. He really has a great understanding of the strike zone. Very disciplined hitter as he steps out of the batter's box now. Time called for. And digs right back in there. Well, this is a good spot for the Pirates to maybe get a few runs back. This is the top of the order. So you're hoping that Inland Valley could definitely show some life here in the top of the 6th inning. This one's low and away, but it called the strike on the outside corner, and Espinosa can't believe it again as he is yelling at the umpire, and he's been ejected from the game. And now Charlie Reynoso is going to run in, and honestly, that's a pitch that looked like it was nowhere near the zone, and we had just mentioned in that at-bat that he was already frustrated with the previous one, as Charlie Reynoso now talks it over with the home plate umpire. And also running down there was I think that was the first base coach Alex Espinosa. I believe Alex Espinosa is the first base coach. He's walking back to first. That would be the brother of Greg, who now heads back to first base. But honestly, that was a tough call there on a pitch that didn't look like it was anywhere near the zone. But that doesn't, make up for the fact that Greg Espinosa really fighting the home plate umpire. But as we mentioned during that at-bat, when you get a guy that's already frustrated, sometimes you kind of lose it there. The pitch the previous time, I don't think Greg really should have argued about. I thought it was close enough to where you have to protect the plate. This one, I don't know. Here's Kyle Jackson. He's 0 for 2. Flew out to second base and grounded out to the third baseman. 311 batting average on the season. This one is in there for strike one, 0-1 the count. Kyle Jackson was one of 4 SCCBL All-Stars representing the Pirates back in 2013. Didn't play this past season because he broke his hand and wrist, so he redshirted this season, as this one's up and in. Right-handed hitter, of course, from Chaffey College, where he will be a sophomore next year. Hometown Claremont, went to Claremont High School, and his freshman year at Chaffey he actually tore it up, as this one misses low and away. Ended up hitting .370 as a freshman there, and was a first-team All-Foothill Conference selection. And continue the momentum last summer, as we just mentioned, making it to the SCCBL All-Star game. Here's the pitch. And this one is a fastball called strike 2, 2-2 the count. I think that's why his stats this summer are pretty impressive, because he hasn't really had a chance to play so often this season with the injury. And you look at his batting average, and it's .311. So, very good season. Here's the 2-2. And this one is lifted into left field. Charging in and making the catch is Pollock, as he runs in about 15 to 20 feet and a little bit to his left to make that second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down here for the Pirates in the top of the 6th inning. And here comes A.J. David. David's 0 for 2. Struck out in the first and flew out to left field in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. Kriske delivers, and this one's outside. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. We mentioned how Kyle Jackson was an All-Star last year. A.J. David was one of the other 4 All-Stars for this team last season. Here's the pitch. Lines this one down the left field line, and foul by about maybe 3 feet. It was very close, but couldn't get it in fair territory. And that's something that he hasn't been able to do today in general, because first at-bat that he had, when he struck out, he had a bunch of balls foul down the left field line. This one, though, he pulls to the right side. Backhanded grab made by the first baseman, Benning. And Benning makes a nice throw to first to his pitcher. And that will do it here for the top of the 6th inning. As it looked like, for some reason, it looked like the Power were delaying coming in. That was 3 outs. That's why I was confused for a second there, but I knew the side was retired in order. And the score remains 8-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 8-2 is the score. Pirates are trailing the Power, as Power just sent up 10 hitters in that last inning and scored 5 runs and took that 8-2 lead. Brett Early remains on the mound here for the Pirates. First pitch, low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Ryan Clark. Clark is 1 for 2, has an RBI and a run scored, also walked. Well, Greg Espinosa obviously is not in at left field because he was ejected from the game. Line drive up the middle. That will get through the infield for a base hit here for Ryan Clark. And so it's Nolan Henley out there in left field who has come in to replace Greg Espinosa here in the 6th inning. And up comes Zach Sterry. Zach Sterry, he's 0 for 1, but was hit by a pitch twice. Hoping to just not get hit by a pitch this time. Fastball outside corner, strike 1. 0-1 the count here for Brett Early. Brett Early is, as we mentioned, certainly a good player here for the Pirates, as he has been all season long, and loves getting strikeouts, as this one is a towering fly ball to shallow center field. Coming in and making the catch is Alec Morabito for the first out here of the inning. So Zach Sterry is retired, and here will come A.J. Young. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count to A.J. Young. He is 1 for 2, singled and struck out. Also reached on a walk and scored in that plate appearance. And if you recall, the walk was with the bases loaded, so that walk got him an RBI back in the 5th inning. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 2. 2-0 the count. Well, for Brett Early, the main thing is basically just stopping the bleeding, as he did do a good job of that in the last inning. But once again, we're talking about movement down the right field line, and there are a bunch of guys looking like they're loosening up. But actually, I think it's just going to be a bunch of changes out in the field, because it's Anthony Virgin and Bryce Cherry. So I guess you would figure that Cherry and Virgin will be entering the game, probably for Johnny Reynoso and then maybe for Alec Morabito. Here's the 2-0, and this one is also high for ball 3. 3-0 the count. Well, another very long game ensuing here between the Power and Pirates today, as we are 2 hours and 10 minutes into this baseball game already, and this one misses outside, and that'll be a walk drawn here for the Power and A.J. Young. But as we were saying, 2 hours and 10 minutes into this game, still only the bottom of the 6th inning, so we're on pace for, based on that, we're on pace for more than a 3-hour game for the second consecutive day. In fact, the game yesterday was so long, I believe by the time the 8th inning ended, it was 3.5 hours. And then we came back and played 20 more minutes today to finish that 9th inning off. Here's the first pitch, and it paints the black on the outside corner. Called strike 1 to Nate Pollock. Pollock, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. He is 2 for 3, 2 singles, 1 RBI, 2 runs scored. So he has been an offensive fire starter for the Power. Early checks the runner at second, fires home. Nice breaking pitch, called a strike, and it's 0-2. Well, for Brett Early right here, when we were starting to tell the story about this, but he's a guy that loves strikeouts for sure and striking people out. He had one outing this year where he struck out the first 5 hitters he faced, coming in the 8th inning, and then the 6th hitter he had 2 strikes on. This one swung on off the fist over towards the first baseman, A.J. David, who makes a terrible error. And so another runner reaches base here for the Power. And, I mean, it was just a really slow roller. And there's not any way to sugarcoat it. I guess he kind of took his eye off the baseball, or maybe he was thinking that before he caught it, he might try to turn 2 and throw it over to second base. But really, it's a play that an out should have been recorded somewhere. And it looks like the infield will come in again here for the Pirates, even though they're trailing by 6 runs and there is 1 out. You'd think that maybe the corner infielders would come in and the middle infielders would play double play death, but that is not the case here, as this is called strike 1. 0-1 the count here to Nick King. So back to the top of the lineup for the Power. And Nick King, here's the pitch. This is ground straight back at the pitcher. He will throw home, and they will record the 1-2-3 inning-ending double play. So Brett Early gets out of the bases-loaded jam, and it keeps this game at an 8-2 score at the end of 6. The Pirates are trailing. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll head to the top of the 7th inning, and the score is 8-2. Power leading the Pirates. First pitch is up and in to Kyle Garlick. Well, Kyle Garlick, he is the cleanup hitter, and he is 1 for 2. Tripled and scored back in the 2nd inning. Also grounded out to the third baseman back in the 4th inning. But back in the 2nd inning when he tripled and scored, he led that inning off. So maybe he could do the same thing here as he takes this one low and away. But it's called a strike, and it's 1-1 here to Kyle Garlick. Kyle Garlick certainly has been outstanding for the Pirates since joining them at the end of June. He's not going to make the All-Star game only because he didn't play for the entire season, as this one is grounded foul down the third base line, and it's 1-2. But certainly you would think that if he had been here for the whole season, he would have been playing once again here at Palm Springs Stadium on Saturday. That game will start at 7:05. There's also a home run derby at 6 o'clock, just in case you were wondering. Still, the official rosters haven't been named, but we're getting word that between the Pirates and Bucks, we'll get 10 players. Fastball upstairs, ball 2, 2-2 the count. So we don't know exactly who the 10 will be, but at this moment, we're thinking it's going to be 7 for the Pirates and 3 for the Buccaneers. Kyle Garlick on a 2-2 against Brooks Christie, swings and fouls this one off, and it will remain 2-2. So this is a Pac-12 battle here, USC versus Oregon, as it has been all day, obviously. Oregon, the Ducks, getting the better of the first exchange, and the Trojans getting the better of the second exchange. Let's see what happens right here in Garlick's third at-bat. Swung on and missed, and that will do it for Garlick as he strikes out, and that'll be the first out here in the 7th inning. As 8 consecutive Pirate hitters have gone down here against Brooks Christie. Here is Johnny Reynoso. Johnny Reynoso, 1 for 2 with an RBI. The RBI actually coming on the ground out that he had back in the 2nd inning. That scored Kyle Garlick. He lines this one in the left field, going back, and now coming in is the left fielder Pollock, who makes the catch. So 1 pitch and 1 out there for Johnny Reynoso, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. And here comes Channing Varela. Varela 1 for 2, tripled and scored in the 2nd, lined out to center field back in the 4th inning. And still, even though he lined out in the center field, I say lined out because he still hit it very, very hard over to the center fielder Clark, as Kyle Garlick walks back into the dugout. Looks like maybe he will be the one that will be replaced by Bryce Cherry. This breaking pitch misses away for ball 1. 1-0 the count here for Channing Varela. So Pirates might make a few changes in the next inning, which would be the bottom of the 7th. Here's the 1-0. This one is lifted into center field. Going back about 10 feet is the center fielder Clark, who has it under control and makes the grab, drifting back out there towards right center field. And that will do it here for the Pirates in the 7th inning, as the side is retired in order for the 3rd straight inning. So 10 consecutive batters set down by Brooks Christie. And we will head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's time to stretch here at Palm Springs Stadium. The score 8-2, Pirates trailing the Power. They will certainly need an epic comeback in their final 2 at-bats should they get back into this and try to knot this series up at 1 apiece. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the first pitch from Brett Early. Misses low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Scotty Burcham for the Power, wearing number 39. He is 1 for 3 with an RBI single back in the 5th inning, which was a really tough inning for the Pirates, where the Power scored 5 runs and broke this game open. Before that inning, it was 3-2. In fact, the Pirates actually took a 2-1 lead in the 2nd inning. Here's the pitch. Called a strike, and it's 2-1. Power jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the 1st before the Pirates responded with 2 in the 2nd. Power tied it up in the 3rd with 1. Took the lead 3-2 with 1 in the 4th. Ground ball right side, two-hopper over to the second baseman, who makes the catch. That's, of course, Escobar, and throws to first to retire Scotty Burcham here in the 7th inning. In right field is Bryce Cherry. So Bryce Cherry has come in to replace Kyle Garlick out there in right field. Otherwise, most of the players look like they're the same, other than at third base. At third base, we have Anthony Virgin in for Johnny Reynoso. So a couple changes there. Virgin for Reynoso and Cherry for Garlick. Here's the 0-1. And this one misses outside. Just a bit outside. 1-1 the count. Jordan Zimmerman up at bat here, hitting .383 on the season with the Power. 0 for 4 in this game. Did reach on a couple of errors. Here's the pitch. This one's on the outside corner. Called strike 2, and is 1-2. And Brett Early, he's showing some intelligence just for the fact that it seems like this home plate umpire really likes calling the outside pitch, and he just keeps going out there. This one is swung on, line drive in the center field, but straight at the center fielder, who makes the catch. And that is another new Pirate out there. That would be Nathan Virgin out in center field. So Virgin coming in to replace Morabito. And the dead giveaway, well, of course, was the fact that there was a right-hander out there instead of a left-hander. So the Pirates have made 3 changes in this inning. And also Nolan Henley, of course, was entered back in the 6th inning to replace Espinosa. Here's Eno Patron, the left-handed hitter from Long Beach State. Huge swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. And honestly, he's been looking like he's been trying to hit one out of the park all day today. He just takes huge hacks and almost swings out of his shoes on that one. And it's 0-1. So Brett Early, he's been very good in these last 2 innings, although the bases were loaded in the last inning, but still got out of it and really stopped the bleeding for the Pirates when he entered back in the 5th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-2. Well, Eno Patron, he was the SCCBL hitter of the week earlier in the season, and he has not looked that good here today. One of the only hitters in the lineup for the Power that hasn't necessarily looked good in this game. As we mentioned, he's 0 for 3 in this game. But actually, you look at the heart of the order, and really, Jordan Zimmerman now 0 for 5. Eno Patron 0 for 3. So the 3 and 4 hitters are combined 0 for 8. High fly ball lifted to left center field. That is a mile high. And Nathan Virgin will make the catch right in front of the banner that says Classic Party Rentals out there in left center field to retire the side in order here for the Pirates. That is the first time all game long the side was retired in order. And we will head to the top of the 8th inning in an 8-2 ball game. Pirates trailing the Power. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top of 8 we go. 8-2 the score. Pirates are trailing the Power, as there is a new pitcher on the mound for Palm Springs. That would be number 17, Austin Lord, a southpaw from Mercer. First pitch is swung on and fouled down the third base line. And it's 0-1 here to Fernando Escobar. Escobar 0 for 2, does have an RBI when he scored Channing Varela back in the 2nd inning. Pirates are going to have to make something happen here very quickly. They are down to their final 6 outs of the season. And this one's called to strike on the outside corner, 0-2 the count for the Pirates. Obviously, it's been a great season so far. Just hoping for maybe one more rally in one of these last 2 innings. This one's low, ball 1, 1-2 the count here to Fernando. Fernando Escobar, favorite team, the Giants, so favorite player, Buster Posey. Austin Lord, here's the pitch. Sidearm throw. High chopper over towards the shortstop who makes the nice catch off the short hop. Burcham fires to first and retires Fernando Escobar for the first out here in the 8th inning. So 11 consecutive Pirates set down by Palm Springs pitching. And we are going to have a pinch hitter coming in here for Christian Kelly, and that will be Dylan Lowenstein. So Dylan Lowenstein enters here for Christian Kelly. Dylan Lowenstein from Mount Sac, Mount San Antonio College, where he'll be a sophomore next year. Just about a mile away from Cal Poly Pomona, where we play our home games, as this one misses low and inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Lowenstein, 6'1", 205-pound right-handed hitter. Hometown Chino Hills, went to Chino Hills High School. Swings at this one and fouls it out of play down the first base line. 1-1 the count. Of course, Dylan comes from a baseball family. His brother Matt is a first-team All-WCC selection with Loyola Marymount. So baseball in the gene pool of the Lowenstein family. Here's the pitch, and this one is swung on and fouled back behind home plate, and it's 1-2. Dylan also, among other things, enjoys acting. In fact, has been in McDonald's commercials, as well as some other fast food commercials. Told me he was thrilled to be the voice of the commercials next year if we get commercials on our InlandValleyBaseball.com broadcast. This one is cracked foul down the left field line, and it remains 1-2. But then I asked him, you know you're not going to be paid for that, and he said, oh no, I know I wouldn't be paid, but I like the acting. I was like, it's radio, but he still wanted to do it. Here's the 1-2 again to Dylan Lowenstein. And this one misses downstairs for ball 2, 2-2 the count. So this is a pretty good at bat so far for Dylan, just in the sense that fouling off some pitches, allowing the bench to see the entire repertoire of this new pitcher, Austin Lord. Just kind of hoping to extend the count and see a lot of pitches and maybe get a mistake, as this fastball misses outside for ball 3, 3-2 the count. Pirates would certainly have to have a great rally of some sort, working with now 5 outs left and trailing by 6 runs. This one is a towering fly ball to shallow right center field. Right fielder makes the catch. That's Patron out there for the second out of the inning. And yet another Pirate retired here by the power. And here comes Nathan Virgin. So Nathan Virgin, as we mentioned in the last inning, replaced Alec Morabito out there in center field. So you can close the book on Morabito. He's 0 for 2 with a fly out to center and a strikeout. And here is Nathan Virgin. He'll be a junior next season for Cal State Monterey Bay and takes strike 1 at the knees. 0-1 the count here to the 6'0", 180-pound right-handed hitter. Of course, before going to Cal State Monterey Bay, played for the Citrus College Owls, as this one is swung on and fouled out of play over the bleachers on the first base side, and it's now 0-2. One of a number of Pirate players who either formerly played at Citrus College or currently play there, and he absolutely raked over there for the Owls. And this one isn't there for ball 1. 1-2 the count here to Nathan Virgin. Virgin, speaking of Citrus College, was a second-team all-conference selection. Hit .350 with them. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes Nathan. So Charlie trying anything to sort of change up the momentum because so many guys have been retired in order. That is now 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 guys set down in a row by the Power. The reason I said trying anything is because he actually brought in 2 pinch hitters in that inning, but still to no avail, as we will head to the bottom of the 8th inning in an 8-2 ball game. Pirates trailing and are now down to their final 3 outs when they come back up in their 9th inning. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-2 is the score. Power leading the Pirates as Hunter Benning will step up to the plate. He is 2 for 3 on the game, a couple runs scored, has a single and a double. We also have a new pitcher on the mound. That is the right-hander, Conlon McKenzie, as the first pitch misses upstairs. Fastball, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Conlon McKenzie, 6'2", 240 pounds. Speaking of Citrus College players, we talked about that in the last inning. That's where Nathan Virgin played his first 2 years at. He's a current Citrus College Owl, where he will be a sophomore next year with Citrus. Here's the 1-0. Catches the outside, and it's 1-1. Does the breaking ball. Conlon McKenzie majors in film, went to Walnut High School, and of course, if you go to Walnut High School, that probably means that's your hometown, and yes, indeed, that is his hometown. Hasn't pitched that many innings this season with the Pirates. Here's the pitch, and this one misses up and in for a ball. Just 8 innings of work this season, but hasn't allowed any runs yet, so has that 0 ERA, 1.25 whip. And in those 8 innings, 5 walks and 6 strikeouts. This one's called strike 2, and it's 2-2 here to Benning. So Brett Early, obviously we closed the book on him. He pitched the 6th and 7th and came in the 5th in that wild 5th inning where it was just really a tough inning for the Pirates. High fly ball lifted to center field, right center at that, and ranging over and making the catch is the center fielder Nathan Virgin. So Virgin, ever since coming in, Nathan Virgin has retired 3 of the 4 outs made, which is pretty kind of, I don't know if it's funny or not, but it's interesting nonetheless that he's just entered since the 7th inning and has 3 putouts. Here's Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark, 2 for 3, a run scored and an RBI for the Power in this Game 2 of the SCCBL Championship Series. Pirates dropped Game 1 by a score of 18-13. The game was finished here today at 7 o'clock, or at least started at 7 o'clock, and both teams scoring 1 run. It was actually 17-12 when we started play for Game 1. Here's the 1-0. And fastball high and away, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Well, obviously, now that it is getting down to the last at-bat for the Pirates, you know that this was obviously a great season. The question is there one more 6-run rally in Inland Valley? As the Power, they had 2 6-run innings yesterday. This one swung on and lifted foul down the first base line and out of play here for Ryan Clark. But the Pirates, they were part of the equation too in that wild 18-13 game. They scored 13 runs. So it's not like they're incapable of really producing runs. The question is, will they just be able to do it with their backs against the wall and only 3 outs to work with for the rest of their season? Here's the pitch. And this one's on the outside corner, called the strike, and it's 2-2 here. So Conlon McKenzie, he retired the first hitter he faced in the form of Hunter Benning on a fly out to right center field that was caught by Nathan Virgin. And here is Ryan Clark. And a 2-2 count from Conlon McKenzie. He comes set and fires. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And so that is the 2nd out of the inning here for Conlon McKenzie, who, as we mentioned, coming into today, he had only thrown 8 innings all season long, but did have 6 strikeouts in those 8 innings. So now that is his 7th strikeout of the season. And an 8 2/3 innings of work has not allowed a run. So let's see if that continues to hold true. He only needs one more out certainly for that to remain true. And here is Zach Sterry. Sterry 0 for 2, but was hit by a pitch twice. So a rough day for him. Here's the pitch. Swings at this one and fouls it straight back at the press box, as that came very, very close towards making it in our open window here in the press box. And it's 0-1 to Zach Sterry. Conlon McKenzie dangling his right arm down a la, Heath Bell back in the day. Or maybe not back in the day, but this one is swung on and missed. Off-speed pitch 0-2, but going back maybe 2 or 3 years ago, back when he was the closer for the San Diego Padres, and then shortly after that it really fell apart for him, didn't it? McKenzie working out of the stretch. Here's the 0-2 offering. Ground ball right back at him, one hopper, and he gloves it and flips it over to first base for the final out of the 8th inning. So Conlon McKenzie retires the side in order in the 8th, and now the Pirates are down to their final 3 outs as we head to the top of the 9th inning. The score is 8-2. Pirates will have to plate 6 runs if they want to come back and make this a game, and really they have to score 7 runs to take the lead, but 6 to just get back into it altogether, as Andrew Alvarez has a helmet, and it looks like he's going to pinch hit for somebody in the next inning. We'll step away for a few moments. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the top of the 9th inning. The Power have sent out their 3rd pitcher of the game. This is number 10, Doug Finley, right-handed pitcher, junior from Colorado State Pueblo. Up at bat is Nolan Henley for his first at bat of the day. Came in and replaced Greg Espinosa back in the 6th inning and gets his first at bat here in the 9th. This one misses low and away. Ball 1 here to Nolan. Of course, Nolan Henley, 5'11", 175. One of his best buddies, Brett Early, pitched 2 innings and 2/3 in this game, and also pitched 1 1/3 of the first game. This one's lined in left field, but straight at the left fielder, Pollock, who makes the grab. So that is the first out of the inning, as that was well hit by Henley, but right at the left fielder. And that was something that seemingly has seemed to plague him for the better part of the season. He hits the ball hard, but it always seems to be right at the fielder. Here is Andrew Alvarez. We mentioned back in the last inning we saw him getting a helmet on, so he comes in to replace Kyle Jackson, and we'll get an at-bat right here for Jackson. Here's the pitch. This one misses inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Andrew Alvarez. Of course, Andrew starting his career at Pepperdine before transferring to Orange Coast College, and now headed to Houston Baptist as a junior. Swings at this one and lifts it foul down the third base line and into the bleachers up towards the second to the top row here at Palm Springs Stadium. Bleachers go up about 15 rows, so that would have been 13 rows up there. Sticks on the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, top of the 9th inning. This one's in there for called strike 2, and it's 1-2 on a fastball to Andrew Alvarez. Andrew Alvarez certainly has been great on the mound, and was also really good as a hitter as well. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing. Peel down to first base, no, they say, and that will be ball 2, 2-2 the count. I mean, and really started the season on fire with the bat as well, but struggled a bit lately and wasn't in the lineup for either game in the championship series, which is a little surprising. Here's the pitch, and this one is grounded. Roller over towards the shortstop, Burcham, who fields cleanly, and Alvarez beats it out. So Andrew Alvarez getting an infield single there on a ball that he runs out. And honestly, Andrew Alvarez, he, for a 6'4", 230-pound guy, he has blazing speed, really, and he's just an athlete in every sense of the word. Here comes Jacob Bernardi. So Bernardi comes in to replace A.J. David I think that really Charlie Reynoso is just kind of getting everybody their at-bats here in the 9th inning. Although, here's the pitch, as this one catches the outside corner, strike one, 0-1 the count. Although you look at the lineup and really everybody on the team can hit. So it's not like he's just, clearing the bench, so to speak, because this team has so many hitters that are good. And this one is swung on, high fly ball in the infield, right at the second baseman, Zimmerman, who makes the grab for the second out. And so the Pirates are down to their final out of the season. And here is Bryce Cherry. So Bryce Cherry comes in for his first at-bat. Close the book on Kyle Garlick, who finishes 1 for 3 with a triple and a run scored. Bryce Cherry, the left-handed hitter from San Francisco State, runners off with a pitch. And this one misses for a ball, as Alvarez will get to second on catcher's indifference there, as the catcher didn't even think about throwing because nobody was covering that situation. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-1 to Bryce Cherry, as Bryce Cherry is just hoping to keep this game alive any way he possibly can. On deck is Anthony Virgin, high and away. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. So Anthony Virgin would be another new hitter for the Pirates. If he were to come up, it would be the 5th consecutive new hitter in the lineup. Of course, some of these guys were already in the field. They just haven't gotten any at-bats yet. Called strike 2 at the knees on the outside corner. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 9th inning, 8-2 the score. Power leading the Pirates. The Pirates are down to their final strike of the season. Andrew Alvarez is on second base in scoring position. Swung on and missed, blown by Bryce Cherry, and that'll do it for the season, as the Pirates are swept in the best of 3 series. And the Power, they mob over near the mound, and they also bring in a water bucket and douse the pitcher in water, as they have all tackled each other and created a dog pile right near the mound. And so that'll do it for the season. Power have now four-peated as the SCCBL champion, as they have swept 2 games from the Pirates. They win 8-2 here in Game 2 after winning the first game by a ridiculous 18-13 score, as the Pirates will now head out to home plate to shake hands with the Power in what will be certainly a rivalry for years to come in the SCCBL. Of course, we mentioned the Pirates were one of the only teams in recent memory to split a series with the Power, and they did that here this season in the regular season, but couldn't stick with them in the postseason, as the Power scored a lot of runs. And really, yesterday was the game that you had to get if you wanted to have the chance to win the best of 3 series. You had your ace on the mound, Andrew Alvarez. When he came out, it was a 5-run lead for the Pirates, but all of a sudden, Power have 6 runs in the 7th, 6 runs in the 8th, and they end up taking that game away from Inland Valley. And then here today, once again, the Pirates did have a 2-1 lead, but that was all the way back in the 2nd inning. And a lot of unforced errors was the common theme, as I was calling them. If you think about tennis, they do call them unforced errors, but a lot of walks, hit batters, uncharacteristic errors, and you can't really be able to do that and play a team like the Power that is so talented offensively. And really, what the Power did yesterday says a lot about the character on their team. I know we've been talking about the Pirates all season long and the character that this team displays, but for them to dig deep and come back and win that game was very impressive, because as the owner, Andrew Starkey, was telling me before this game, he had people that went to Pomona as fans who had left after it was 11-5, thinking it would be a loss. And unfortunately, the Power did come all the way back and won, as We Are the Champions is now playing here on the loudspeaker at Palm Springs Stadium. Dave Soberi on the play-by-play. This is our final broadcast for the season Thank you so much for listening to us all season long. We appreciate everybody who's listened. We know we had 200-plus views yesterday, and we'll check how many views we had here today, but also more than 1,000 views on our website. So we really appreciate everybody for taking in all the stuff that we have, whether it be the stories, the pictures that we have on our website, listening to the broadcast, just everything. We really appreciate it, and we hope you've enjoyed InlandValleyBaseball.com while it lasted for these 2 months. Obviously, it will be brought back again next year when the season starts again, but for the Pirates, they are now finished. And the Pirates, as we mentioned last season, they were 12-11-1 and finished in 4th place of the league. This season, quite a different story. 26-8, finished tied for first with the Power in the regular season. 12-4, the 2 records for the teams in the regular season, and they finished 26-8 this year. So more than doubling the win total, and just a really great season nonetheless for the Pirates. And obviously, it's a tough way to finish the season, but only one team can win a championship every year. And the Pirates will have to go back to the drawing board next season in 2015 and try to take it away from the Power in 2015. Of course, in 2015, it's going to be another very, very tough conference, especially with the San Diego Force joining the league. But that will happen in 2015. What's done now is this 2014 season, and we just thank you for listening and being a part of it with us. And we also just say that, Pirates, they had a great season. I really loved and enjoyed being the voice of the Pirates and watching them all season long. And they have really done a good job at cementing themselves as a real force here in this SCCBL. Andrew Alvarez, what can you say about him? Obviously, he as a pitcher was absolutely sensational all season long. And just looking at everybody, Greg Espinosa, great season for Greg. Johnny Reynoso, great season for Johnny. And we talk about this all too often, but he'll be heading to West Texas A&M next season. And that's the program that was only 2 wins away from the World Series in D2. He might be the type of guy that gets them over the edge. And then you look at I'm singling out a couple guys, and I don't want to single out a couple guys. I really could single out everybody for the most part. I talked about Kyle Jackson earlier in the game. If you want to watch a guy who plays fundamentally sound, great baseball, he is just awesome to watch, both as a hitter and a fielder. And then you look at A.J. David, a real power pitcher and hitter who's been sensational. Kyle Garlick, what can you say for him? He has had some exceptional big hits in this game and the last game. And every game in the playoffs, all 3 games had huge hits. Game-tying hit on Monday against San Diego. Go-ahead hit on Tuesday. And the big triple that started off that second inning and gave the Pirates a 2-1 lead. But those are just a few of the guys. Obviously, Varela came strong with the bat. Christian Kelly is unbelievable behind home plate. Channing Varela, did I just say Channing Varela? Well, Channing Varela obviously really good with the bat lately as well. And both Virgin brothers just on-base machines all season long. So, I'm really sorry if I leave anybody out, as I'm just trying to mention everybody off the top of my head here. Morabito, another really good hitter. I think he was close to hitting 300 this season. Just everybody. I'm just mentioning all the hitters. Jordan Sheffs also did a great job on the mound. Michael Koval as well, setting the record for Inland Valley Pirates history with strikeouts in a single season. And we'll look forward to this next year, because this is a team who literally will only lose 1 player for next season. So this entire roster will be back next year, and it will be very, very exciting to see what the Pirates will do again next year. Obviously, this year they finished 26-8, still a great season, and obviously, like we were saying, really appreciated and enjoyed calling them. And it's tough that it ends this way in a 2-game sweep in a best-of-3 series against the Power, but that is just the way it will have to end for Inland Valley, and they will have to live with it. But once again, it doesn't diminish the fact that it was a great season. And so the final score in this game was 8-2. Final score in Game 1, 18-13. Power sweep. And that will do it for this season. Thanks again for joining us. Dave Soberai. We'll see you next year.